Welcome to your first session on the leadership section of the Sustainability Accelerator. This particular video here is just about the clarity of vision, which is two things. There is the vision itself, which needs to be honed. So that's you work figuring out, well, what is the actual outcome? What are the outputs? What are the things that you're expecting from this really clearly? In order for that to be communicated with clarity to the teams, to your suppliers, to the institutions that are having to work with you on this initiative. So for example, if you're dealing with waste, it's not just the people in your company that have to recycle, you're dealing with your waste provider, for example. The supply's not on here, but your supplier has to be on board and understand what the implications for you are and why it's so important. So your ability to communicate that is key. And you can replace the word leader with CEO or team leader or supervisor, but anybody who's in charge of the project has to get a lot of people on board for things to work. And you'll find that 90% of your job is coordinating and communicating and communicating and communicating. And it's not just one way. So it's important to come back to Comms 101 and look at a basic diagram of what communication actually looks like. You have the sender figuring out what the message is and coding to have the message and communicate that on channels, whether that's in meetings or emails, to be decoded by the receiver who will understand it in their own context. Nobody is the same, so they'll understand words and concepts and things, or even the work in their own way. They'll do the work and you'll hopefully get some feedback on whether that thing got done correctly. And now it's up to you how quick that feedback loop comes in. If you're an effective communicator and in meetings you listen more than you speak and you ask people, what did you understand today in your words? And then you can be quiet and hear back in their words, then you'll get that feedback right away. But if you're the kind of person that puts orders out and you're busy, so you leave and you don't see the feedback until the work's already been done, then it's come back and you're like, oh, it's quite far off what I thought I said in the meeting, but that was like a week ago, right? So this diagram reminds us of the reality of effective communication in an organization. And throughout this whole process, there's noise. There's noise in your head, other thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, your schedule, all of that is busy. It makes your mind and your emotions very busy. There's noise on the channel, so if you get that on email, your inboxes are full. There could be lots of things that add pressure for this person who's receiving that email or that message. So it's important to understand what some key elements are, because you can influence noise, but it's not something that you control. What you control is yourself. You control the message that you're actually putting out. You influence or actually can get better understanding of the receiver to see, well, the feedback, what actually did they understand of this? So if we had to focus on three things to improve your clarity of your vision for the sustainability program or initiative, or even just for your business, the three things you need to be doing. The first one is empathy for the receiver. The better you understand it, the better you can shape the message to resonate to them, for them to actually understand what it is that you're trying to accomplish. The other point here, these are not in order, this probably is the first one, is to hone your intent. What are you actually trying to accomplish? And to hone your vision. So that's you reiterating what it is that you're actually trying to accomplish, so that when you reach the end and the output is now done, you get to an outcome that says, yeah, this is exactly what I thought it was going to look like, because I thought about it a lot, as opposed to, oh, I wish I thought that through a little bit more. Those are things that you can do beforehand. That's just better design. And the last part is in the improving of the delivery, and that is reiteration of the message until you articulate it in ways that are just super clear. We're going to dive right into the first exercise, actually, to help people gain an understanding of what that vision of yours might look like. So this is from the wonderful Seth Godin. He's like the god of marketing. He invented email marketing in the 70s and still apologizes for it. And he's got this wonderful 3-sentence template, which is very simple, but very difficult to do. First sentence is like a group empathy kind of exercise where you say, my product, my business, my offer is for people who believe XYZ. and that I will focus. And this is like a deeper singular empathy exercise. So thinking about the key target audience, I'll focus on people who want X, Y, Z. The promise, which brings everything back operationally, which is the guarantee that you're going to get what your firm promised them. So it's, I promise that by engaging with what I make, you will get whatever it is that you're going to get. So the best way to actually explain that is through an example. So we're going to dive into a mural board here, and I'll give you examples. Mural board here is the actual workshop board that I would do this particular exercise with for startups in Cambodia, to New Zealand, to Slovenia, or whoever is asking for my help. So essentially the marketing promise encompasses these three core areas, which is like your whole business. It is your marketing funnel, so it's everything that you're saying on the outside, your advertising and things, to the sales funnel. So once they're actually interested and you're like, they're considering it, you're actually talking to them, that whole part of that process, to the actual delivery and the experience of your product or service. So all three of these need constant iteration to get what all businesses should be really going for, which is product market fit. Your offer fits exactly what the market wants. And that whole thing here, all three areas of this funnel, create what we call the marketing promise, and it ultimately manifests your intention. Let's go through the example, just kind of bring it all together. That's Seth here, the mighty Seth Godin. So the example here that we have, and this is for my trampoline park that I co-founded in Cambodia. And so I wrote this, and I have a marketing background as well, and it took me many versions to get to where this is. So that's tip one, is be ready for the constant iteration. To gain clarity, and this is just like copywriting 101, you are constantly reiterating what it is that you're trying to say. So the more iterations that you have, the closer you're gonna get to what it is that you really wanna say. So this is also a great exercise in ensuring that your business is not greenwashing. So this exercise is great for many things. But just remember that what you're taking away from this is that the leader, you, are able to communicate in a way which is concise and channels your brevity, meaning you can say much more with less words. So let's dive into this example. Phnom Penh is the trampoline park, and let's look at the first sentence where Phnom Penh is for people who believe that the freedom of physical expression, fitness, and shared experience is healthy, fun, and important for a balanced life. That was the original hope, like, this is what I believe in, like, fitness is awesome, you're expressing yourself, you're doing all these great things, but it's long and it's not concise. So our current final version, 4 versions later, Phnom Penh is for people who believe that fun is essential in living a healthy life. This gets to the point much faster, and it also forced me to kind of get rid of all the other fluff. Because remember that the more arguments that you have for something, it actually weakens the stronger arguments that you have, because it just sounds like you're being sold to. So as the leader, you need to pick your messaging very clearly and get to the heart of what it is that you really do, okay? Or are really trying to achieve with the project or program that you're trying to do. So that first sentence, which I like to call the community empathy sentence, is one where you say, hey, if you believe in this too, and you believe in all it, yeah, come together. This is what our business is about. Or sustainability, this is what we're trying to achieve. And I know that you're in different departments, or you're different customers of mine, but we share the same thing. So I think that you're gonna like this. So that's how you bring them together, by getting to the root of what brings that community together. So I call it like a group empathy sentence. Number 2, we'll focus on people who want a fun fitness experience with games and activities that can both challenge you and bring your people together. I mean, it's nice lingo. You'd expect to see that on the marketing, on a brochure, on team building proposal to the, for the trampoline park, but it's long. So here, we evolve that to, we focus on people who want a great activity experience that brings their people together. That's it. So whether you're at a birthday party, or whether you're a team building or school even, great activity experience and it brings everyone together. That's sort of what I was trying to pay for. Clear. That's what you want, that's what I'll bring. Now, here's the tricky sentence, the promise, the guarantee. By coming to Fly, We promise you will get a safe and incredibly fun trampolining and activity service experience. Can I promise safe or fun? And the answer is no. It is completely subjective. Well, fun I can. It's completely subjective. I could have 9 out of 10 people going in there saying it's great, but 1 out of 10 jump around for like 15 minutes and they go, you know what? It's not for me. I can't promise fun. I can't even really promise safe. What if I have 2 5-year-olds running around the lobby? They're not even on the trampolines and they just run into each other. Well, I can't promise that there's never going to be accidents. But what I can promise, and I need to break that down as the leader in the organization, to consider, well, what do we mean by safe? What are the things that are within our control? What are the things within our influence? So I can promise that it is clean, and I can promise that it is safely maintained. I could tell you when everything was replaced, to the very last spring. When did that come in and get replaced on the mats? I can do that. I can promise you our interpretation of fun. So I had to break that down. Well, what does fun look like for us? And that's moving, it's social, it's challenging. So we had to think, well, how do we make that really interesting? And so I thought, well, we influence our trainers, we pay them so we can give them an SOP to follow. So we thought fun is where you play, you get coached, there's activities that activate you. So we looked at the model where when people come into the trampolines, they come in having a lot of fun, and then, you know, after a while they get a bit tired, and then they're like, okay, what else is there to do? And that's sort of the best time when our trainer should go in and say, hey, I noticed that you were jumping in the first 5 minutes, and then later you're getting better at this. And they go, me, the customer, really? It's my first time. It's like, yeah, dude. And they go, oh my God, you're right. I think I am pretty good at this. And when you add in that gamification, because this is not an app, this is an actual trampoline. And so we had to get our trainers to go in to gamify that and get people to feel like they were getting better at something. They were being challenged as well as having fun. And that's what we believe fun to be like. And so after we did this exercise, like a few years later of having opened the trampoline park, we changed the SOP, and now we're seeing much better reviews, more people coming in, because it was clear what we were actually trying to offer, and our team understood that, right? So this exercise here, the marketing promise in 3 sentences, forces you to become a thought leader in your sector or in your industry, because you're forced to think really deeply about what brings your customers together, what they actually want, and more importantly, what your offer actually is. So there's a vision for what you think the market should look like, who's doing what in your team even, and then you've now got a tool that you can use to actually communicate that. So this is why we love using the marketing promise exercise, because commercially it's great for your brand positioning, your marketing, your thought leadership, your operational team to come back and say, are we actually delivering what we are telling everybody that we're delivering? It also forces you to actually speak to your customers to find out if those are the things that they actually want to do. Now, in sustainability, it's the exact same process. You're thinking about, well, what is the thing that we're trying to do, and what people are we trying to bring in the company, in the organization, or in the market to do the thing that you want to do, whether it's in emissions or biodiversity or whatever, and focusing on what those people want, and then ensuring in that exercise or in the project that you're trying to do that those are the things that you're actually going to deliver. This process helps you as the leader clarify what it is that you're trying to accomplish. Now, coming back to you, here's an assignment that you should go off and do to figure out where you are now with clarity of vision. So you could be asking an array of stakeholders, your customers, your team, your investors, your wife, how clear is what it is that you do, your vision, your direction, how you think you're going to get there. And they can tell you very simply on a scale of 1 to 10 how well they understand that in their words. And that's the big tip here, is that when you start doing that, the moment that you ask, you zip your mouth and you just listen and you ask questions. So is that how you interpret that? So when you say this, tell me more. How do you feel about that? And then you can get a deeper understanding of actually how effective your communication is, but also where their understanding is as well. And if you want to do it correctly, the best way is actually to have somebody else ask for you so that there's no bias in it, especially if you're already kind of well known for taking over conversations or being quite a big personality. that bias, that influence is contagious. So it's important, if you want to find out what's really going on, it might help you to actually get somebody else to go and find out for you with consent, so they're aware that this conversation is happening. So on that note, thank you for listening to the clarity of vision and marketing promise part of this exercise. See you in the next video.